What's up, guys? PKSparkxx here with a very new video with a very intense match versus a Waluigi in the championship match of an online tournament with your boy using Chain Chomp. Now, I wanted to use this video in particular because it brings forth a very important question that I feel like a lot of people have their thoughts on, and it's something that I want to give my own thoughts on as well. Should defense characters be nerfed? Are defense characters too overpowered? If you guys do not know, for those of you guys who don't come through to my Twitch live streams or don't play online tournaments for yourselves, defense characters are the most used characters right now. The defense characters being Waluigi and Bowser Jr. And these characters are good for several reasons. It feels like, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, it feels very often like they have absolutely no weaknesses. Both of those characters have pretty good mobility. They have really insane mobility while they're charging a shot. So they don't need to get near the ball in order to start charging up a shot and make a return, which means that they can apply a lot of pressure against their opponents. They have so much strength behind their shots, especially Waluigi has very strong shots, and because they're defense characters, their range is really good. They can stand in the middle and recover from almost any shot. Drop shot, they'll recover. Lob shot, they'll recover. Shot deep to the left, they'll recover, especially if they have meter. And for a video that I have not put out yet, but something that I'm going to discuss, trick shots are really useful against, well, in this entire game. Meter, building meter is very important in this game, and that mechanic of trick shots allow defense characters to be even stronger than they already are, because even if you are good enough to push them deep into one corner, if they have meter and they can time their trick shot just right, they will recover. I have hit a Bowser Jr. with a fully charged flat shot from a Chain Chomp, and he barely went back. Not because he counted properly, because it was a poor stance return. I remember this clearly because I thought about it myself. It was a poor stance return, but he still recovered. And that's just mind-blowing to me that that character has that, like, I don't know if that's a real thing with defense characters, but it's something I've noticed and it's something I'm still trying to study myself. So as soon as I have concrete evidence, of course I'm going to bring that information to you guys on this channel. But to go back to my original point, do defense characters need to be nerfed? That isn't a loaded question. That's an open question, because if they change defense characters completely, then they're going to be changing a huge aspect of the game. And I feel like the way they are right now, they're playing as they should. I do. I believe that defense characters are playing as they should. They are not allowing any shots to get past them. The issue is not so much with the mechanic of defense characters so much as it is the mechanic of trick shots. Trick shots can make it to where you cannot do any damage to anybody. If you have advantage on your opponent, if you have advantage on your opponent and you do a fully charged shot, whatever it may be, if they use a trick shot, for whatever reason, a trick shot can nullify the knockback and the effect from that fully charged shot. So what's the point of that? That's one thing that I believe needs to be fixed. Because the issue, I believe, is not with defense characters so much as it is with trick shots. Defense characters also have a little bit too much strength. Just a little bit too much. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but defense characters, I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I like their defense, but I feel like they also have way too much offense. Have you seen, I mean, if you ever play a character online, you may even see it a little bit in this match. So I hope you guys are actually watching the match, because it's a really intense match. Just watch. Right now, I'm down 40-0. I just scored my first point, and he's on championship point. But the video's longer, so you can, well, I guess I just spoiled it, didn't I? Listen, just watch the match, and you're going to see examples of what I'm talking about regarding defense characters. Defense characters can do a drop shot so easily because they were just reaching everywhere, and they rarely have poor stance returns. And then they can just jump forward and, you know, recover the ball, because most likely, depending on your character, especially if you're using a character with very short range like Toad or Donkey Kong, that once you recover with a poor stance recovery, they're sending a lob shot and you're not going to be able to recover the ball. Or even if you are burning an intense amount of meter, and that is going to suck. So the reason why I think defense characters are really good are not only because the way the defense characters are applied, but it's the addition of trick shots. So what do I think needs to be done about trick shots? What can you nerf or change about trick shots without ruining the integrity of the game? There are several things I believe that you can change about trick shots. One of them being that you can nerf how much meter you actually get. Because, I mean, let's be real, if you're using trick shots, you're doing it to build meter. And for those guys who do not know, once again, I'm going to have a comprehensive video detailing everything I know about trick shots. But from a single trick shot, you're going to gain, like, I want to say like 20% of your meter, 20 to 25. It's not anything to laugh at. And look how easy they are. I just performed one on screen. You want to rewind? If you missed, I'm performing it again right there. You know why? Because they're useful. You build up meter with trick shots so easily. And the horizontal trick shots do so much. They build up so much, and they're so easy to do. You can cover up horizontal distances as well as vertical. It's ridiculous what you can do with a trick shot. I believe that for what they deliver, they are way too free to use. Another reason why trick shots are so abused is that, well, they're easy. I mean, again, there's no real punishment to really missing a trick shot. I mean, if you go for a move and you use the wrong option, like if they go for a drop shot and suddenly you use a trick shot, you're not going to be able to get the trick shot recovery on that. Well, a backwards trick shot, I should say. So it's all about guessing at that point. But otherwise, you can just use trick shots every single turn and be fine. Now imagine this. Imagine if they were to make it to where trick shots could not be used in succession, where there's like a cooldown regarding trick shots. Or even this, what if trick shots weren't so omnipotent? What if you got less meter every single time you used it? Like the first time you used it in a single rally, yes, that's fine, you can do it. Even if you're just recovering the ball, if you build up the same amount of meter every single time, it's going to get abused. I mean, again, look at the match that's on your screen. The meter is being abused. So what can you do? You can deter people from using it consistently, or only using it when they need to. That's a nerf on the usage, and that's also a nerf on the effect of it, like how often you can use it. Here we go again, just trick shotting everywhere, getting meter up because it's abused, and if you don't do it, you're going to be behind in the game consistently. So I think trick shots is the real issue when it comes to defense characters. Now with that said, the one thing I do think about defense characters, even though trick shots are abused and that's why they're so overpowered, I do believe that defense characters themselves are they're way too good. Like, I feel like if you're going to have a strong stat elsewhere, where in this case, it seems like they don't get pushed back as far from a charge shot, and they also have great charging mobility. Again, I've used Bowser Jr. to see why this character is so overpowered. I now realize the power of this character. It's really silly how much mobility they get along with their long range. So I feel like their charging mobility and their long range should be their characteristic. I feel like they should not have strong shots. I feel like they should not have great curves on their shots. I feel like they should be a bit more slow than everybody else. I mean, he's pretty slow, but while he has great mobility, again, you're seeing him move around the screen right now. He has pretty solid speed. So that is what I think they need to do. Is not only, like, they don't need to worry about the defense character. I like the characteristic of being a defense character, but it's everything else regarding it. It's the fact that they have strong serves. It's the fact that they have great mobility. Waluigi is notorious, and Bowser Jr. as well, because their range is ridiculous. They're notorious for dropping drop shots into lob shots and just bodying anybody, especially me, because I main chain chop, and it's one of the reasons why I started picking up another character. I mean, I'm already working on Yoshi, but now I realize I need to pick Yoshi up a little bit more, because whenever I fight defense characters, I just need to, I need to figure out what exactly I need to deal with. And I know that is the speed. Chain Chomp is a slow character, so I just kind of want to, you know, be ahead of that game. Speaking of counters, speaking of using speed characters against defense characters, I have noticed one thing about defense characters is that the main way to abuse them is by using the game mechanics around them. I stopped trying to play against defense characters and more so playing the game that we're playing. If you guys don't know, I mean, look at the racket health of the Waluigi at this moment. He has 1 racket left, 1 health on that racket. I have both rackets, both health. You tell me, what is my win con here? What am I going for? So I am pressuring this player, not the character. I'm pressuring the player to make sure that I can win this game. That's my focus, is pressuring on the racket. Another thing I've learned is that even though they barely get knocked back, if you can get charge shots off, you do push them back a little bit. So what I've taken to do is making sure I mix up between a flat shot and a slice, so that way I can either push them back or cause them to spin out. And against defense characters, I have realized that using a charge slice, which will make them spin out, is a lot more effective than trying to just push them back or beat them in a straight up game. So try to manipulate the game around defense characters. Work on building your meter and keeping meter advantage, because when you have meter advantage, you can start dropping zone shots and make them use their meter even more, and that's how you can start scoring your game, by just, you know, making sure you keep them down. The character is strong, but your advantage, at least from what I've played, is again playing the game and not so much the character. I know it seems like Mario Tennis Aces is darn near a fighting game. I understand that. I'm with you guys. I mean, there's meter and all of that. But you have to play the game around defense characters right now and not play against the defense character, because otherwise you're kind of going to have a bad time. You know what I mean? So, those are all of my thoughts regarding defense characters in this game. And I mean, I don't know. They're tough. They're tough for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, they're there. They have so much omnipotence about them. It's hard to get any shots past them. And then even if you are fortunate enough to force them into one corner, well, meter, zone speeding, zone shots for them, special shots, it's going to be a lot that you have to deal with. So, what do? Well, you got to manipulate meter for yourself. Until trick shots get nerfed, which I believe they do, because trick shots is what really makes them OP. Until they get nerfed, you have to deal with them, and you might as well use them to your advantage. As well as you have to learn to play other win cons. You have to learn how to pressure your opponent. This entire game, I started pressuring my opponent, and now look at that. I just snatched the match out of being knocked out, one point loss away from losing this championship match. I just took it back because I realized that I couldn't beat the player, the character, so I had to beat the player. So, I mean, those are my advice. Let me know your thoughts about defense characters in the comment section below. And yeah, I seriously want to know you guys' thoughts. Please, I want a whole conversation, because I could be wrong, or you could have a different point of view or a different opinion on what I think needs to be done to balance defense characters. But I am genuinely curious, so let me know. If you guys enjoyed this video, demolish the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you ring that bell to get notified of the next video. Tomorrow, we're going to be back with, tomorrow we're going to be back with Mario Tennis Aces single player, and you're going to get some auto expansion as well. But for right now, it's time for me to dip. Stay hot, guys, and I'll see y'all next time.